Welcome back to SCP-1977-VHS. Day 3. It happened again. I wake up feeling like nothing has changed. I use my phone's camera to look at myself, and once again, no reflection. Like I'm a vampire. I check that mirror off to the side of me. Nope, can't see myself. I don't understand this. You would think even in a world like this, I guess it would make sense to be able to see yourself. But why can't I? Why am I incapable of even seeing my own reflection? Is this dimension some kind of home to mirror reflection eating entities? If you can see a reflection, does that mean you're real? I've heard that in dreams that you're not capable of making out faces. You're not capable of seeing reflections properly, and if you could, it would be distorted. So what if this world itself knows that, and it turns off mirrors and any type of reflective glass that you could see yourself in, so that it wouldn't distort your personal reality, and it wants you to think that it's not real, when it is real, but it's not real? Are you just as confused as I am? I'm walking around in the mall again, but this time the store's names are different. They're not the same as they were before. I hear something pulsating. It has a bass-like sound. And then I find it in the corner. It's that cube from yesterday. I walk up to it. I'm able to touch it. As soon as I do, everything around me turns into what looks like a wireframe. I can see everything in this building. I can even see what looks like outside. I go to one of the stores with it, and it looks like a wire-framed room. And there's a door. I tap on the cube by accident with my hand, and all of a sudden, on the cube's surface, some options appear. One option is an X-ray. I tap on it, and immediately I can start seeing through objects. This is fascinating. Then I see more options. One says debug. I tap it, and it pulls up a list of commands I can use. No clip? Now I know what this is because I've seen that more than once. I used to do this in video games if I'm capable of it, and it's rather cool. I turn this feature on, but nothing happens. So I do what I always do in games like this, where I put my head against the wall and I just barely push. And I can see outside of the wall. I get down on my hands and knees to be careful, and to make sure I don't fall through, I check the floor with my hands. It's stable. I clip into the side of the wall. It's just a void. I can clearly see the mall and everything around it. And I can walk to any location I want just by clipping back into the walls. But I had an idea. What if I have the cube, obviously, and I tap the menu and I pull up the debug menu. I turn on the X-ray and the wireframe. Up at the top of the debug menu it says,
Error 22X01-2.js is not meant to use the player software. Turn off immediately.
I ignore the error message and continue walking around. It's light in here, just like it was in the mall. I can't figure out where the light source is coming from. I can't figure out where I'm at. But this time I have a better understanding because I can clearly see the ground. Even if it is black, but I know I'm standing on something, so I don't feel like I need to worry about anything. What looks like a screen in front of me, the way it's acting, it starts to tear like the room or the world is screen tearing again. Then a table and chair appear at least 20 feet in front of me, just like in the store called Glitch. Then the chair starts screen tearing again, and then it starts glitching all over the table as if it's having a seizure. And then it throws itself at me. Luckily, I dodge it in time by throwing myself to the ground. And then it hits the side of the wall, breaking into 1,000 pieces. But then it all disappeared. I looked up where the table should be. It's like it was never there. I keep walking to see if there's an out. Oddly enough, I did find a wall. I put my hand up to see if I can go through. It looks like it. I'm capable of walking through. And as soon as I walk through, I'm in some wooded area. Off in the distance, I can see a cabin and a lake. You can hear birds chirping and what looks like a dirt road that leads to a normal road. There's a fire burning in the cabin because there's smoke coming out of the chimney. Have I finally made it out? I walk up to the cabin to see what's going on, and to see if anybody's there. I'm still carrying the cube. I knock on the door, but nobody answers. I take a chance and I open the door, hoping that a gun won't be pointed in my face. Let's face it, I'm in the middle of the woods. There's likely somebody with a gun out here. The last thing I need is to get my head blasted off. Before I step inside, I looked at the cube on the debug menu. I see where it says pause. I tap it. All sound, anything that was in motion stops. Yeah, I am still in the place. But I'm clearly not in the mall. I was right. There's nobody here. It's just me and the cube. I hit play, and everything goes back to normal. Well, normal enough. I look around the place, and there's even a cellar. I walk down the stairs to see what was in it. The stairs are squeaky. It took me a good minute to get down there. It looks like it has cases of aged wine from the 1800s. I have no idea how wine works, so I'm not even going to attempt to drink any of it. I go back upstairs and it's already 10 p.m. So I'll go to that bedroom. Let's hope that I can figure out how to get out of here. Day 4. There's gotta be a way out of here. I've been trapped in wherever I am for at least 4 days now. Still, my phone's battery hasn't dipped from 100%. As normal, I don't feel tired, but I can sleep if I want to pass the time. The cube has a bunch of options I haven't toyed with, but for now, I think using the X-ray and wireframe is all I really need to play with. At least I can see what's what. I honestly wonder if there's anyone else here. What about any NPCs? This world feels more like a game than it does anything I've ever been in, so maybe? I begin to walk around the woods. Everything felt real but rubbery, if that makes sense. As I look around the woods, it looks like it stretches on and on for miles. At least that's what it looks like. As I continue looking around, I go to the lake. I had a funny idea. I found a stone, but first I took the cube out of my pocket. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this cube can easily fit in my pocket. It expands like a Pokeball. I tap the menu, tap pause. The world pauses. I take the rock and I chuck it at the lake. I watch as the rock bounces but doesn't go in the water. So I was right. Anything I'm holding or touching also stays unfrozen as long as I'm holding the cube. This reminds me of a movie called Clock Stoppers. I doubt anyone knows that movie. It was a cool concept. I take a chance and I step on the water. It's like I'm stepping on a puddle. I don't fall in. So this is exactly like I thought. I can use this to my advantage. Although, I wonder if that means that as long as this is paused, it will hold me. Or does it have some kind of structural integrity? What can hold what for how long? What can I do? How long and so on. What I mean is, if I hold a rock, but then my arm becomes tired, I drop it. Can that happen here? In the settings, there's a small menu that says something about only myself and the cube stays unfrozen, but even if I touch something, it stays frozen. I find a log that I can hold in the air, and then I pause everything once again. The log stays in the air. I climb on top, and I see it hold my weight. I sit on it with no issues. But for how long, I wonder? Well, that was fun. Of course, I unpause and I go back to whatever normal is here. I go back into the cabin and I look around. There's an old radio. I turn it on, and it's old 30s and 40s music like it's the Fallout games. At least I like this kind of music. I look around the cabin and I see nothing useful. But there is a bathroom, a kitchen, and as I said, a bedroom, and a TV. I tried the TV out, but it didn't play anything. You know when you get a VHS player and you need to switch TV signals on it like it's an RCA? That's what this was. You couldn't even put it on a station. I guess you could call it a dumb TV, which was fine. In the wild, animals are more often on high alert more than obviously a normal cat or dog. Humans may feel similar things like this when your car has a smell that you can only describe as a bad car smell. Then realize it was a false flag and it was nothing more than you smoking your brakes. Sometimes that happens when you feel so stupid that you do it. Why do I even think about this? Well, I feel nothing. Like, I'm in my own bedroom. I feel like I'm honestly fine. You know, I just realized that in the first 4 days, I've not talked about using any bathrooms or showers. I guess it slipped my mind. In the bathroom here, it has everything you could need. Hell, it even has some standard shampoo you'd find in a general hotel like a Marriott would have. Clean towels, wash rags, different types of soap, and even an oatmeal bar of soap. I used to use those as a kid, so why not? I take a good hot shower. Even if I don't feel dirty, it feels nice. You know in The Sims with the needs bars? Yeah, those have never gone down on me somehow. I know I've said this a few times and I'm practically a broken record at this point. I know it's a bit silly to think about, but it's nice. I can say in the past 4 days, it's been interesting. I don't feel lonely, I don't feel sad, I don't feel any major emotion. Like the world is removing it all. I'm sure I'm considered missing in the real world. I wonder if they have sent out a team. I wonder if anyone else is trapped here. What I wonder is if this place has been here this entire time. Does it update anything? Does it base your perspective of the world to itself? What I mean by that is, I like 40s music. I like the idea of a cabin, but I think whatever this is, whether it's Backrooms with an SCP, or it's something more serious. This is what I don't get. A lot of backroom places and SCPs are often said to be dangerous, but there's also backrooms and SCPs that are completely harmless and just sort of exist. Say for instance SCP-999, aka the Tickle Monster, which has been said to be one of the most adorable entities around. Or for the backrooms, level 37, the pool rooms. Things like that. Yet, I still feel off somehow. If I could explain it better, I would. This world, especially outside, something feels off. It still feels fake. Well, the cube helped me determine I'm not in the real world. I guess the only thing I can do is continue to exist here. I ruffle around the drawers in the kitchen. There is nothing but hand towels, a few kitchen knives, and some other utensils. I check the fridge and I see that it's filled with basic foods. I can either cook or use the oven or microwave. Everything in here has a label of what it is, but not where it's from. Like if it's a brand. It's all white boxes. Like in the freezer, it says, frozen pizza, 20 minutes at 400. So I do. Just a normal margarita pizza. It's getting late. Guess what time it is? Bed. Yeah, this place has a nice bed. I guess I can call it a night, and I'll continue this journal tomorrow. At least once again I can relax, let myself drift, and I'm out. Hello there, this is me, Tarrabyte, at the very end of the story for the time being on day 4. Day 5 and 6 will be recorded a little bit later, but I need to find some voice actors and voice actresses. Currently, I'm looking for a female voice actress. If you are listening to this and you're like, hey, I want to do that, post in the comments section and tell me the best way to get a hold of you. I recommend Discord. I can add you and we can get to talking. If you would like to help me out with some parts in this, don't worry, it's all safe for work so far. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to add any not safe for work stuff. I don't think I will. It's been pretty PG so far. I think at best, it's probably just going to stay that way. I might get a little bit more gruesome, a little scarier, more psychological horror to come, but I don't really know what all I want to do yet. So if you're interested in that part, let me know, and we'll see what happens. Until then, stay tuned for the next episode of SCP-1977-VHS. Until then, later.